I am Goodluck Bello Jonathan, a former president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, heading the ASA Election Observation Mission in this seventh elections in South Africa, marking 30 years of democratic practice. Frankly speaking, all of us who are African leaders have a lot of interest in these present elections. First democratic elections was conducted 30 years ago, so 30 years is critical. And we are pleased that for the past 30 years, this country has practiced democracy. Unlike most African countries where you have democracy for some 5-10 years, the military will take over. After some 5-10 years, democratic practice again, a check of the democracy. But here is continuous, and we hope and believe that it will continue that way. So we are quite hopeful that democracy has consolidated in South Africa. Because if you look at what is happening currently, more people are interested in forming political parties. That means that they have embraced democracy. The issue of independent independent candidates have also come up. 2019, there were no independent candidates. So but that shows that the democracy is taking root in South Africa, which is quite good for all of us. Women generally in Africa are working very hard. They may not get to where they want to get or where we want them to get, but you are working very hard. And what you are doing in South Africa is unique and it's good. I will continue to encourage you. Your position in terms of mobilizing society for peaceful processes, not just the election, but in leadership and so on, is commendable. And most African countries have similar women groups. And I think that is something that we must continue to encourage. You are doing well, and you'll continue to do well, and even do better as the years progress. To me, the future of democracy in Africa is bright. People get a bit disillusioned when they hear about military takeover of powers in some parts of the continent, especially in the Sahel region. I'm from West Africa, where we have about 4 countries out of the 15 countries that are under military rule. But that does not show that democracy is dead. If you look at democracy in Africa in the 80s, you would say almost nothing about it. I used to say that if you were to write a book on democracy in Africa in the 80s, it would not be more than 30 pages, you cover everything. But currently, if you are going to write a book on democracy in Africa, it will take you upward of 200 pages for you to make a reasonable contribution. So we have challenges, no doubt about that. Military intervention, in some places, no doubt about that. In some places, they still democratically elected presidents are working as military dictators. That has been the perception in some cases. Some cases, especially the governance issues, young people feel that using the word that popular in Nigeria, dividends of democracy. They are not getting the dividend of democracy. They are not getting the jobs. The economy is not really very friendly and so on. These are governance issues which the leaders are working. But in terms of the practice of democracy, it's consolidating across the continent. Even the countries that were under democratic, under military rule, for example, in Central Africa, Chad, they just had election, and now they have moved back to democratic practice. Burkina Faso, which is a country in West Africa, the military dictator, they have said that in 5 years they will conduct election. That means that they know that democracy is the best, and that is where the world is. And that's why it's promising the citizens of Burkina Faso and the rest of the world that, look, yes, we're here, wearing a uniform, but we'll not stay more than 5 years. It shows that everybody believes that the continent, and indeed the world, must be democratic. So democracy has come to stay, and is growing, and it is consolidating. And South Africa, the practice of democracy in South Africa is quite commendable. Sometimes you don't know what you have until you lose it. This is one country that I know. People don't go to court when they lose elections. In fact, in South Africa, it will be quite embarrassing for somebody to go to court that I've lost election. While in other countries, as you're preparing for election, you're also preparing for post-election litigation. So here, the practice of democracy is quite strong, and I hope they will keep it so. There are a number of issues that come up with this current election. If you look at what is happening in the dominant or ruling party and so on and so forth, these are things that are normal in political processes. They will normalize, and the country will move.